Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing? Grab that coffee, maybe a snack or two. What do we got laying around? I got donuts in the kitchen. You want one? Sanka and Entenmann's. Get them out. So, we got a lot to talk about today, all right? And it's not good, but I do got some good news for you. So, you guys love those PDFs. Well, guess what? I got 8 of them. And they're all medical guides. So email me, all right, and I'll send you these medical guides for you. They're all in PDF form. We got tons. So, on to this, all right? Oh my gosh, when I tell you, it's like, you know, as the world turns, these are the days of our lives. Do you remember from the 80s and 90s when we were all into the soap operas? Yeah, I remember those too. So, all right. This happened in Smithsburg, Maryland. And Stormy Bug makes his appearance. How you doing, baby? You doing, my son? He's the son. So at least 3 people have met their demise and 3 others were injured, all right, including the suspected shooter and a Maryland State Police trooper. Oh, no. Oh, no. In a mass shooting yesterday, Thursday, in a manufacturing facility north of Smithsburg, authorities have said. Sergeant Carly Hose said there was no further threat to the public. The Washington County Sheriff's Office said deputies responded to a shooting incident about 2:30 in the afternoon. When deputies arrived at Columbia Machine, they found 4 gunshot victims, 3 of whom were dead. The survivor was taken to a hospital. The suspect, a male, fled before the sheriff's office arrived, and a state trooper encountered the suspect, and they exchanged gunfire. Both were hit, taken to the hospital. Their conditions are unknown. The state police responded. They pursued the suspect. The suspect fired and shot a state trooper in the shoulder, who then returned fire and shot back at him. Okay. And the shooting happened at Columbia Machine, like I said, which provides concrete products, equipment to customers in over 100 countries. Whoa. Whoa. My Lord. My Lord. Let's keep all those people in our thoughts and prayers, okay? So, here we go again with the baby formula. You know, it's like this is becoming tragic. No kidding. So, people are literally, you know, this crisis, it's taking an economic toll on families, okay? And gas money and wasting hours, you know, because I'm seeing people having to travel hours and hours and hours just to get baby formula to feed their children. And here's an update. The one subscriber of mine who lives here in Florida, and she was sending formula to her niece in Missouri. Well, the baby had a doctor's appointment and he switched the formula. He is now on Enfamil Nutromogen, which is what my son used to be on when he was a baby, and it's for colic. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. Okay, now this shortage comes as inflation is squeezing household budgets and hits low-wage workers especially hard. It's hitting everybody. I mean, it's just a sin. It really is. Now, people, like I said, they're spending hours driving to about a dozen different stores in a day. And people are literally like getting down on their hands and knees in these stores to search for like last remaining bottles of baby formula on a bottom shelf, seeing if anything is rolled underneath of a shelf, and it's just sad. It's sad. And people who don't even have a car, they don't drive, how are they supposed to go out and venture to even look for this baby formula, So people are spending up to $150 a week in taxis. Can you imagine? Spending $150 a week in taxis and Uber and Lyft to go and search for baby formula. And this is unbelievable. Now, people are actually losing more than $150 to scammers as well, who are purporting to sell this baby formula online. See, there's actually dirt bags out there that are saying, look. So the U.S. baby formula crisis is getting worse. We know this. Out of stock rates have spiked to 74% nationally for the week ending May 28th, up to 70% the previous week. And this is all based on data from the retail tracking firm Data Assembly. In 10 states, the rates were 90% higher. Now, while incoming shipments and rebooted production give some reason to hope the crisis could improve in the next coming weeks, for now it's taking a heavy toll on families. There's a panic of not knowing where our children's next meals could possibly come from. But there are those of us parents that are also going to pay the price for this. And it's awful. Now, like I said, families are also spending hundreds of dollars filling their tanks with expensive gas to drive across cities and towns and counties, even across state lines, just to see if they can find baby formula. Have you ever thought that you would ever hear something like this come out of anyone's mouth? No. So, I just, it's heartbreaking, And then in Pennsylvania, there's a baby formula maker that just received $8.25 million from the state. All right. And Pennsylvania, what they did was they have now invested $10 million in ByHeart. And it's the first newly federally approved U.S. formula maker in 15 years. And this is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And the state of Pennsylvania, they announced its plans, okay, to invest another $8.25 million in baby formula plant near Reading, Pennsylvania, that hopes to ease an ongoing nationwide shortage. And the investment in ByHeart, okay, that's the name of the company. It's one word. It's BYHEART. The first newly, like I said, federally approved U.S. formula maker in 15 years is in addition to the $1.75 million in state funding that helped ByHeart complete the $21.6 million facility in Exeter Township. So they feel that they will ultimately be able to feed up to 500,000 more babies. Yeah. So I hope they are successful, but God only knows what will really happen if the administration gets a hold of this. So on to this, we've heard about the new E15 gasoline, yes, and what it's capable of doing to our engines. Well, now AAA came out and said, yeah, it's going to damage vehicles and cause consumer confusion. A new survey that was done by AAA finds a strong likelihood of consumer confusion and the potential for voided warranties and vehicle damage as a result of the EPA, of their recent approval of this E15 gasoline. And an overwhelming 95% of consumers have surveyed that they have not even heard of this E15. And it's a newly approved gas blend that contains up to 15% of ethanol. And it's beginning to be available in some U.S. markets. And currently, E15 is at least 10 gas stations in Kansas, Iowa, and Nebraska. It's not yet in Oregon, okay? And with little consumer knowledge about this E15 and less than 5% of cars on the road approved by automakers to use this type of fuel, AAA is urging regulators and the industry to stop the sale of E15 until motorists are better protected, because this will literally destroy your car. Yeah, so please be aware, do not use this gas. Don't do it. All right? So, on to this. Here's a recall for you. You know how I love carrot cake, right? All right, well, guess what? Carrot cake has been recalled. God help me. It's a popular dessert treat. Some carrot cake squares have been recalled by Leonard Novelty Bakery after they were found to contain an undeclared allergen. This was initiated on May 17th. I'm trying to look and see what the undeclared allergen was. This recall does not apply to any other lot codes of carrot cake. Jeez, all right. So the lot codes that it includes is SL21R 10222 12483, SL21R 10322 12483, and SL21R 10822. It was issued due to the cakes potentially containing undeclared walnuts. Okay, so yeah, so if you have a nut allergy, there's that. So on to this, a subscriber has a small rant. All right. And this rant, she says, it's a sorry state of affairs. When I ordered fuel on Monday for her tractors and told I might not get it until maybe next week. Now, she said, here, how are we supposed to get crops planted if we don't have the machinery in the fields? just getting tired of all the slop being handed out. Yeah, I'm sorry, hun, that this is even happening to you. And I totally understand. You know, it's not like I run a farm or anything, but I can understand, you know, from a business perspective, where you're coming from. Okay. I used to own my own business. So believe me, when it comes to inventory and needing to do things and get things done, and, you know, and I've helped my parents run many, many successful businesses. So believe me, I understand where you're coming from. When you have to, you know, when you have things that have to get done in a timely manner, I understand where you're coming from. So, on to this. Okay, so this is another email that came in, and she said, I'm in South Texas, close to the Houston area, and in only 5 days, the gas price for plain unleaded went from $4.14 to $4.49 a gallon. I drive a small car. It took almost $40 to fill it up. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Being on a fixed income, I have a hard time keeping it topped up. Yeah, I understand. You know, you're not the only one. She said, baby formula, I noticed yesterday while I was out is low, but not completely gone, thankfully. But the options are very limited. I was lucky. I found out there is a farm close that sells milk. Oh, nice. And I have some people I know that have a farm where they sell eggs and some meat and baked goods. Oh, well, that's really good. And so I'm gathering up some of the information that I can while I'm doing my best to get ready. Yeah, that's all, you know, honestly, that's all any of us can do, is to just do our best. And, you know, what's the saying, you know, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, that type of thing. Okay, well, that's all any of us are doing right now in this community, in these times. You know, that's all any of us can do, honestly. Can't expect anything more, you know. And so she goes on to say, your video has me thinking, I wonder if people really understand how bad this is going to get with the fuel wise. You know, unless I honestly believe, okay, and this is just my honest opinion, unless, you know, you are in the field of, like, my one subscriber who she owns and operates and runs the truck stop, or you are a trucker yourself, or you are in, you know, that line of work, or a line of work like gas stations, stuff like that. I don't think anybody is, or mechanics, I don't think anybody is really going to truly understand how this is really truly going to impact this country, this world, and people individually. I really don't, you know, because we could sit here and talk about it all day long, over and over again, until we're blue in the face. And then people are going to say, well, you know, we still need to put gas in our cars because I have to go to work. I have to take the kids to soccer practice. I have a doctor's appointment. I got to go grocery shopping. I got to do this. I got to do that. Yeah. But it's also affecting, you know, not just our everyday lives, but the supply chain, you know, how our homes are going to be run. It's affecting every single aspect of our everyday lives, of every second, of every moment. It's just the way that it is. So she says, now larger cities may have tanks, but those won't last forever. No, nothing does. Nothing lasts forever. And she said, in addition, heavy equipment will be nothing more than huge paperweights without fuel. Yeah. She says, transportation, maintenance, and security for our school districts will all shut down. Yep. Now, the big districts have fuel tanks, so that'll keep them going for a bit. The district I used to work for kept 3 types of fuel on hand: unleaded, diesel, and propane. But even then, the supply is limited. Buses use a lot of fuel. But even like getting back to like the propane, right? And even oil, okay? Like a lot of houses up north, and I know this because you've contacted me, okay? The oil that you need to run the heat okay, to run your homes in the winter is astronomical in price. And then even Trish, she was telling me that, she had to pay this amount to have the oil, filled, stuff like that in the house. And she's just like, well, what does it cost to have your furnace filled? And I said, I don't have a furnace. What are you talking about? I don't have a furnace. And she goes, you got to have a furnace. I said, no. I said, everything is electric in my house. I said, I have central heating and air. I said, we don't even run the heat. She's like, you got to be kidding me. It gets cold down there. I said, yeah, I know. She said, you don't put the heat on? For what? I said, it's called put on a hoodie and sweatpants and throw a blanket over you if you get cold. What's wrong with you? It doesn't, it gets cold here, but it doesn't snow or anything. You know what I mean? But even if it did, I have my windows open. I want that fresh air. You know what I mean? I don't put the heat on for anything. No, it's gonna put some warm clothes on, put your socks on, and leave it at that. You know what I mean? But yeah, and she's like, I can't believe you don't have a furnace. No, for what? There's a lot of houses here that have fireplaces and stuff like that, but no, we don't have. And she's just like, well, what's your electric bill like? I said, in the summer, we're at like $175. I said, in the winter, we're at like $120. She's like, you've got to be kidding me. No. I said, but also take into consideration my house is only 1,200 square foot. I don't have a very big house. I don't want a big house. You know what I mean? So anyway, but moving on with the propane and the oil and stuff like that, like Sean's mom's house, she has propane. Big mistake, especially now. She can't afford to fill the propane tank. So guess what? She's not going to have hot water. She's not going to have gas to run the stove. She's not going to have this, and that. You know what I mean? So, moving on to this, she said, but the smaller districts don't, so if they can't fill up a station, they'll be parked. For the kids that depend on the school for at least 2 meals a day, this will be horrible because most of their parents won't have a way to get them to school, and they also may not have the ability to feed them those 2 meals in place of the school. Right. I know. And she said, in addition, for all of us who have to stay parked due to not being able to find or afford fuel, our only option for getting supplies would be USPS, FedEx, UPS, Instacart, etc. Right, but we have to pay for their gas. So prices are going to rise. She said, but those will be shut down pretty fast, too, because they need fuel. Right. So she said this younger generation will be hit especially hard since they're so used to having everything at their fingertips and easily delivered. I don't think it's just a younger generation. It's going to hit us hard too, because how easy is it just to go on Amazon and delivered next day? You know what I mean? And then she said, I could see them panicking real fast. Oh yeah. And she said, so I wondered what will happen when those that are still asleep are hit with the reality that everything isn't okay, like we keep saying. You know what? How much longer do we have to keep telling them? We've been saying it until we're blue in the face. They still have, their eyes are still shut, their ears are still muffled. I can't anymore. I don't know about you, but I can't, And she said, up till now, it's been okay, head on a swivel at all times, but I decided that soon I'll have to start carrying when I go shopping. Absolutely. If you don't have a shopping buddy or whatever the case may be, even if you do, we're still targets. I've said that. Look at what's happened to our one subscriber here. It's awful. And she said, but just to be safe, thankfully, being in Texas, this isn't an issue. But I really hope that people are thinking about this and planning for it, even just pepper spray. No, yeah, I completely, 100% agree with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, On to this before I go. All right. So gas prices, okay, have forced U.S. police officers and the departments, okay, to ration call-outs, all right? So surging gas prices are forcing some police departments to look for more fuel-efficient ways to respond to calls. Yeah, imagine that, all right? So they have to cut down on fuel consumption. So one Michigan police force, the department, has already asked its its officers to handle whatever calls are acceptable by phone. Yeah. So what do they deem acceptable? That's my question, right? So the American Automobile Association, AAA, has reported that Michigan has seen one of the highest average weekly gas price surges in the country. And prices were previously climbing weekly, but are now increasing on a daily basis. But we're seeing that all over the country. It's climbing 10 cents, 50 cents, 20 cents, you know. And U.S. drivers who have increasingly been left stuck on motorways with empty tanks as they try to test the limits of their fuel gauges, which, nay, never, ever let that gas tank go below half. Don't ever. As soon as it gets to half, fill it up. Because otherwise you're going to get stranded. Not just that. It's going to cost you a hell of a lot more to fill up. So, but now the issue is beginning to severely impact police departments, sheriff's offices, and other agencies. And the local sheriff's office has reported they're already spent 96% of its fuel budget, with 3.5 months still to go until the end of the fiscal year. Yikes. Yikes. And this is not okay. So they're, when I said, like they have to use their own discretion, right? These could include like non-in-progress calls, non-life-threatening calls that do not require evidence collection or documentation. How do they know there's not evidence? How do they know? What are you going to do? Talk to the victim on the phone and say, do you see any evidence laying around? Oh, okay. All right, then I don't need to come there. Wait a minute, come on, man. They're not a forensic scientist. They don't know. It's getting out of hand, man. Getting out of hand. All right? Stock up on your gas while you can. That's what I've been doing. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.